Hello everyone, I'm the thewalrusclown, and welcome to Walrus Reviews, and I'll review anything. It may be a cartoon, a movie, or a comic you don't know, and finding out is half the fun. Today we'll be reviewing the Netflix original series, Kong, King of the Apes, Season 1. Honor, roll the intro please! Kong, King of the Apes is an American, Japanese, and Canadian collaborative web cartoon made exclusively for Netflix's streaming service and originally aired on April 15th, 2016, and has a Season 2 in the works. And I don't understand how, because, well, not being without merit, was terrible! The show was about a baby gorilla in the year 2050 being found by a super scientist professor named Leo Remy and his fraternal twin sons named Lucas and Richard in San Francisco after the poachers that were illegally transporting Kong's plane carrying him crashes. The family decided that because the mother has most likely been killed in conjunction with the fact that the environment has gone to shit in this fictional future to the point where white-tailed deer have become an endangered species, and that the gorilla were thought to be functionally extinct in the wild, and Kong may very well be the last wild-born gorilla on Earth, decided that the best possible life the ape could have is with a scientist family with a biologist patriarch. Thus they take him in, and then over the years becomes a giant ape kaiju for no adequately explained reason, because the title character is named Kong and isn't owned by Nintendo. So of course the cartoon is going to be about an ape kaiju. The way the twins react to this instantly tells us that Lucas is the good, nature-loving twin that will be Kong's second banana, and Richard will be the nature-hating, bionic-obsessed, nature-hating, screw-the-environment-I-have-money, Rule 63 version of Dr. Blight from Captain Planet mad scientist villain you'd expect the main villain from a show with an environmental undertone to be.
Of course!
Years go by, and the twins are adults, and Kong has become giant-sized like his movie namesake with no explanation of how he grew to that size because shut up! Pardon me for a moment. After a while, the public finds out about him, and the only way the mayor will let Kong live is to set him up on Alcatraz Island and put an electroshock collar on him. After the professor dies from off-screens disease, the evil Kong-hating twin Richard frames Kong for stealing weapons from him, and now we head into episodic adventures that involve Richards and his robot assistant Patilla constantly doing everything to break the law to gain more money for his bionics corporations, all the while framing Kong, Lucas, and their ensemble of one-dimensional cast of side characters for it. Characters that I will be going into now. Pardon me for a moment. Kong is, well, an ape with the mentality of a small child who is portrayed as being a misunderstood gentle giant. He enjoys banana cookies that are made by the Hispanic nanny character Anita, who really doesn't do anything, so I won't bother going any further with her character. He is also the driving force of one of two decent things this show has going for it: the fight scenes. Next we have the human lead Lucas, aka the standard no personality Gary Stu overly bland humanoid milquetoast 80s kid movie protagonist. His best friend, the techno-savvy African-American named Douglas Jones, whose personality is that he's a techno-savvy, negative African-American 90s sitcom stereotype, and the Asian, might be a fry for Lucas, I'm not sure, she does so little I can't even be sure of that vet that specializes in primates, Amy. The only thing for sure I can say she does during the series up until this point, outside of the one-off episode where she's kidnapped by Rule 63 Dr. Blight, is that she provides a valid reason for her younger brother, Scrappy Number 1, to be part of the show. His name is Danny, and he's annoying and I hate him. What the frack is it with Vince Tong and voicing characters that piss me off? Then we have Danny's shadow, Scrappy Number 2 Francesca. She has no personality outside of having a borderlining, racially insensitive fake Mexican accent, just like her great aunt the aforementioned maid does. Then we have the true saving grace of this mess, the villains. The evil twin brother Richard and his comedically serious robot slave, Bottella. Richard is so freaking cliched that he stops being stupid and becomes hilarious. He chews the scenery in absolutely every scene he's in that isn't him putting on an act for the media. He has a freaking cyber monocle for crying out loud. Yeah, the Dragon Ball Scouter thing on his bionic eye, it's not a computer. It's a cyber monocle. And it's a good thing he's such a fun villain that's as over the top as he is, because his plans are dumber than a sack of rocks. His whole shtick is to fool the world into thinking that he's an honest businessman, all the while committing crimes and framing Kong for it so he can make more money. Which he really doesn't need, because he has ironclad contracts with governments all over the world to produce battle versions of his bionic dinosaurs for military use. It seems that the writers agree with me, because in the final episode of Season 1, he randomly switches from being greedy to wanting to, what else, conquer the world.
Of course!
And some of his plans for getting Kong out of the way are just really cliche as well. If you've seen an 80s kids cartoon or watched the 80s cartoons that Toonami showed during the Moltar era, then you've already seen every stock plot used here. The shrinking episode, the melt the ice caps episode, the body swap episode plot, they're all here. Everything in this cartoon is so overdone and cliched, it's irritating! And now for a more serious problem. In a cartoon with such a strong environmental undertone, it sure doesn't know what it's talking about half the time. Like in the episode Poacher's Prize, where they save a female liger and her liger cub Lucky. In the end, they release her into the wild where they know where there are wild male tigers. If you don't understand everything wrong with this, let me explain. A. You can't release a big cat that was raised in captivity into the wild. That would be a disaster for both the cat and the people living there. They haven't learned how to hunt, or to be afraid of people and stay away from human habitated areas. And in fact, by fact that humans were caring for them, have learned to associate people with food. The big cat always loses in these situations, and by lose, I mean die by gunshot. And B, a real nature conservation group would never try and breed a hybrid animal. Every wild male tiger that has relations with the ligress is a potential tiger that could have been made. And considering that there are more captive tigers in private ownership, aka a place they don't belong here in the States, than there are in the wild, every wild-born animal counts. As far as conservation of wild species is concerned, Kong, you fail! And finally C, even if they were trying to make more wild-born liger cubs, they couldn't. All male ligers are born sterile. Ligers are made by breeding a female liger back with a male lion, and the liger offspring would be sterile, and the line would end there. Stupidly releasing the ligress with male tigers would only result in stillborn animals if pregnancy happens at all. Most female ligers are barren and can't conceive. In summary, all the characters are either boring, one-dimensional, racially insensitive, stupid, or annoying. Nothing in the background like Kong's growing to kaiju size are ever explained, and it clearly doesn't know what it's talking about when it comes to saving the environment, and feels like it's trying to win social brownie points instead of actually teaching children about how to save the environment and the endangered species thereof. Do not waste your time with this program. If you want to help big cats that were abused by private ownership, go throw your money at Big Cat Rescue. Link in the description. You know what? I'm going to keep riding this one ape open trend and keep the primates a-comin'. The Donkey Kong cartoon will be up next. Till next